Greetings, mighty companions. Annika Jawa here, and we are doing a Course in Miracles, as we always do on Wednesdays. And on Wednesdays, we always do a Course in Miracles, the complete and annotated edition, which is the latest edition of A Course in Miracles. For the last few years, I have been going through the annotated edition of A Course in Miracles. It's that big old purple book that came out a few years ago that was edited and notated by Robert Perry. And I've been going through it from chapter 1, section 1, all the way through, because there was so much that came through the scribe, Helen Schuckman, that was left out of the first two editions, that I really wanted to teach this edition so that I myself could really enjoy and experience and learn this original material that was left out. So that's why I'm doing this. And where we are at today is we are in chapter 6, the lessons of love. So we are starting a new chapter today. It's always such a miracle whenever we finish a chapter or start a new chapter, since it seems to take so long to make it through a chapter or a section. So we're in the annotated edition, we're in chapter 6, and the name of this chapter is The Lessons of Love. All right, now, the name of the chapter is The Lessons of Love. All right, so you're gonna learn about love. Great. What's the first thing you're going to have to learn before we get to the love? Before you get to the lessons of love, what's the first thing that we need to learn? And it is section 1, the message of the crucifixion. Aha, very interesting that the name of the chapter is The Lessons of Love, but the first section in that chapter is the message of crucifixion, which means what? The lesson in attack. The lessons to be learned in the experience of attack. Okay, so if you want to get to the love, you're going to have to learn the truth about the attack. Whether it's the attack that's coming from you or it's the attack you perceive coming from others. In order to get to the love, you're going to have to go through the fear. You're going to have to go through the fear. The Course in Miracles says we go through our fear to our love. We go through fear to our love. That's how we get to love. You got to go through the fear to get to your love. That's what A Course in Miracles says, that the journey is. This is a journey through the fear to meet our love. And so, as we are on our journey to meet our love with a capital L, we're going to have to learn the truth about attack. And as we learn the truth and a new interpretation of attack, which comes from fear, we will make our way through the fear to our love. All right. So, hi Maya, hi Zen, lovely to see you. Lovely, amazing creations you've been making, I've been seeing, beautiful. Good job, Zen. Hi, Carrie. Lovely to have you all here in this healing circle. So whenever we come together to listen to these ideas, we really do create a healing circle. Why? Because these are healing ideas. These are ideas that are the correction of fear. The Course in Miracles says that this is a course on love because it's a course about you. It says that you don't need to search for love. You don't need to search for the meaning of love, because that is what you are. That is what is. All that we need to do is to search for all the obstacles that we have made to the awareness of love's presence which is our natural inheritance. And so that's all the Course in Miracles is about. The searching for the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence, of love's reality, which is what we are. That's all the Course in Miracles is about. It's not trying to teach you the meaning of love, because that can't be taught. It's just trying to help you and me to clear the obstacles, remove the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence. And love, which is you, and love's presence, which is here, right now, and everywhere. All right. Andrew says, so excited to start a new chapter. I know, it is so exciting to start a new chapter. Carrie says, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you, Carrie. I feel exactly the same way about you. All right.
Hi, Carrie.
And Greg says, ditto. Okay. So, we're about to dive in deep to the obstacles to love's awareness. Okay? He said you don't have to search for love. All we got to do is remove the obstacles to the awareness of love's presence, which is what you are. And here's the obstacles to love's awareness. It's all attack, which comes from fear. So, okay, so are you ready? This is a really super, super deep section, okay? The message of the crucifixion. I would like to tell you that this is the section that I always go to whenever I'm experiencing myself as under attack. Now, I know that may sound crazy to you that I sometimes experience myself as under attack. What? But it's true. And maybe you experience yourself sometimes as under attack. Maybe from someone in particular. Relationships, special relationships are really good for attack. The most of the attack that most of us experience, it really is from special relationships. But wherever it is that you feel yourself as under attack, this is the section that can clear that attack. It can identify the source, the real source of that attack, and undo all the effects of it. These are the ideas that can absolutely take you to the source, the real source of that experience of attack, and undo all of its effects if you want it to. And so whenever I am experiencing myself as under attack, where like, how do you know where you feel like you're under attack? Well, that's the places where you feel like your anger is absolutely justified. Okay? Wherever it is that right now you feel like your anger is justified, whether it's in your relationship or with your government or with your colleagues or your family or whatever. Wherever it is right now where you feel angry and you feel like your anger is justified and you feel righteous in your wrath and you also are suffering, that is the place where the lessons of love are trying to reach you and to heal you from beyond your anger. All right, so wherever it is right now in your life where there is anger, wherever in your life, so I want you to take a moment, I want you to think about that. Where is it right now that I got anger going on and it really seems justified? I want you to bring that to your awareness, and I want you to think about that. Bring that to your awareness. Because wherever it is that you've got a lot of anger going on, and that anger feels so justified, that is where your block to the experience of love is happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify that obstacle to the awareness of love, love's presence, and we're going to let A Course in Miracles tell us the truth about it. And as we allow A Course in Miracles to tell us the truth about that anger and what's really about and what's really going on, then that anger, that misinterpretation that's giving rise to anger can be corrected, and that obstacle called anger, that obstacle to love called anger, can be reinterpreted and can be corrected. And then what is all that's left there is the love, all the love, and everything that is part of the love, and everything that comes with the love, the peace, the joy, the abundance, the health, the aliveness, the creativity, all of that comes with it. Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Anybody ready to hear about the main obstacle to love?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Because remember, on the other side of this obstacle to love is the best you ever had in terms of love. For the real thing in terms of love, the real thing. And remember that love and joy and love and peace and love and abundance are synonymous. So we're talking about the obstacles to love. Remember the title of the chapter is The Lessons of Love. Awesome. These are the lessons that are going to remove the obstacles to love for you. And so the first section is called The Message of Attack. The Message of Crucifixion. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? Carol says, yes. All right. And Monica, lovely to see you as well. Here we go. Chapter 6, The Lessons of Love. Section 1, The Message of the Crucifixion. The relationship of anger to attack is obvious. Yeah, when I feel angry, I'm going to attack. That's obvious. But the inevitable association of anger and fear is not always so clear. Right. It's so obvious that when somebody's attacking, they were angry. It's not so obvious that when they were attacking, they were afraid. It's not so obvious that when someone's angry, they're really afraid. That ain't so obvious. All right. It's not always so clear. But here's the truth about anger. So here's the truth about anger. Anger always involves projection of separation, which must ultimately be accepted as entirely one's own responsibility. Say what? Anger always involves projection of separation. The reason I feel separate is because of you. The reason I feel upset is because of you. The reason I feel disconnected and lonely and alone and under threat and afraid is because of you. That is, what does it say? It says anger always involves projection. You are doing this to me. You are making me feel separate. You are threatening me. You are making me feel alone. You are making me feel unworthy. You are making me feel unloved. You are making me feel bad. You are making me feel the way that I'm feeling. Is anger. Anger always involves a projection of the negative emotion that you are experiencing. Wow. Now, yes, that is very hard to believe. Can I get an amen on that? Is that hard to believe or not? Anger is what? Anger always involves projection of separation. I am feeling separate, but you are making me feel this way. Anger always involves in projection of the separation that you are feeling. Wow. What does that mean? That means if you knew that you were making yourself feel the way you were feeling, if you knew that you were choosing to feel exactly how you were feeling, and you knew that, you wouldn't be angry. You'd be horrified that you were choosing that, and you would choose again. Anger is always projection of separation. And that sense of separation, disconnection, that sense of feeling guilt must ultimately always be accepted as one's own responsibility. All right. Now, if you want to not feel angry anymore, if you're tired of the results of feeling angry all the time, you know, the sickness, the depression, the anxiety, the brokenness, the physical symptoms. If you're tired of the symptoms of anger, feeling like a victim, feeling powerless, all those symptoms of anger, the depression, the sickness, all of that. If you're tired of the symptoms of anger, the toxicity, body, mind, and spirit, then the responsibility for the upset must be accepted as your own responsibility. Wow. Okay. Anybody ready for that challenge? Anybody had enough? Anybody had enough of the anger and the symptoms and the results in your body, mind, and spirit of the anger? You may be justified in that anger, in your perception, but oh, the cost of that anger. Think about the cost of the anger. As much as you may be justified in your perception of that anger, and I'm sure in a court of law, everyone would agree with you that you are justified in that anger. But oh, the cost of it. Even though you're justified in that anger, think about the cost. It costs you emotionally. It costs you physically. It costs you psychologically. It costs too much. Now, if you are done paying the price and the cost of that anger, as justified as you may be, then this is the section for you. Here is your answer. All right, here's what it says. It says, anger cannot occur unless you believe 3 premises. Okay, so I want you to bring to your awareness somewhere where you feel anger right now. All right, I want you to bring to your awareness somewhere where you feel angry and you feel justified in that anger, and you don't care what price you pay for the anger you feel. I don't care if this gives me cancer. I don't care. I'm justified in that anger that I feel. I don't care if this anger results in some kind of sickness, body, mind, or spirit for me, financial, emotional, relational. I don't care. I want this anger. I'm justified in this anger. I do not care the price that I pay. I want you to bring to your awareness where you feel that kind of anger. And I want you to now apply whatever you hear next to that. If you really want to stop paying that price and suffering the effects of anger in your life. Okay. Hi, Faye. Hi, Rochelle. Lovely to see you. I remember reading some of this with you all those years ago. And Andrew says, I'm so over suffering the effects of justified anger. I cannot handle it any longer. Right on. Okay, well, you're the perfect candidate for this section right now, Andrew. Okay, so here's what it says. There's 3 premises that have to have been believed by you for anger to even occur. Okay, so what is it that I would have had to believe for me to even have gotten angry? What are those 3 premises? Here it goes. It goes, anger cannot even occur unless you believe, number 1, that you've been attacked. Oh, yeah, for real, I have been attacked. Hello. No one would counter that. Anger cannot occur unless you believe, 1, that you've been attacked, 2, that you are in no way responsible for that attack, and number 1, that you've been attacked, number 2, that attack on you was completely unfair, and 3, that you are in no way responsible for that attack. Those are the 3 premises or beliefs that had to have occurred even for anger to happen. Wow. Okay, those are the 3 premises, the 3 beliefs that you had to have believed for you to have even become angry. All right. Now, it says, given these 3 completely irrational premises, the equally irrational conclusion that someone is worthy of attack rather than of love follows. Okay. So once you have believed those 3 completely irrational beliefs, then what? Then it makes sense that the equally irrational conclusion that an equal is worthy of attack rather than love follows. So as soon as I believe those 3 things, guess what? Guess what follows? Hi, sweetie. Guess what follows? What follows is the equally irrational belief that somebody deserves attack. They are worthy of attack. I believe that I've been attacked, for starters. For real, I believe I've been attacked. Number 2, I believe that attack was completely unfair. And number 3, I believe that I had nothing to do with that whatsoever. And so now I believe, even though it's completely irrational, that my attack on them is completely justified, completely worthy. That attack on them is justified instead of love. That's how it goes. That is the truth about anger. And that is the truth about attack. Wow. All right. You've all heard it. We all just heard the truth about anger and attack. Now, we know, Course in Miracles knows that we do not believe that at all. Just so you know, you're innocent. Course in Miracles knows that we do not accept that and believe that. That's all right. That's okay. As long as we take those ideas and use them and apply them to wherever we feel like our anger is justified and wherever it is that we are suffering that belief, then we can experience the undoing of the beliefs in anger and all their premises and all its effects. Wow. Course in Miracles says that whatever sickness, body, mind, or spirit that you may be experiencing, whether it's emotional, psychological, or physical, or financial, or relational, it's coming because you believe that other people are worthy of attack instead of love. And so, that's why A Course in Miracles says that the key to happiness is forgiveness. The forgiveness offers you everything you want. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to healing. Forgiveness is the key to abundance. Forgiveness is the key to joy. Forgiveness is the key to love. Why is that? Because the main block to love is the idea that someone is worthy of attack rather than love just because you're angry. Wow. Obviously, hi Trisha. Trisha says, hi everyone, I'm here. Awesome, Trisha.
Hi.
Right on. Trisha has entered the room.
Trisha's here.
Trisha has entered the building. All right. So, what I hear in this is that A Course in Miracles is letting us know how incredibly devastating is the perception called anger. And even if the anger seems justified and for real in all of our situations, indeed, anger does seem justified. But even what it's saying here is that that whatever justification you have for anger, the truth remains that it's toxic. It's devastating, and ultimately, anger is one's own choice, one's own responsibility. In other words, no one is a victim of anger. No one is a victim of anger. Why? Because there are other interpretations. Anger is not the only interpretation. Anger, according to this, is a false interpretation of the situation. Okay. Now, if you're perceiving correctly the situation or the relationship, you wouldn't be experiencing anger. You would be experiencing something else. If you are perceiving yourself or the situation correctly, you wouldn't be experiencing anger. But you would be perceiving that you had made an error, or that they had made an error that was calling for correction. That's what you would be experiencing if you were truly perceiving correctly. So in whatever situation that you're experiencing anger right now, tell yourself, if I'm angry, my anger is letting me know I'm not perceiving this correctly. If you were perceiving this correctly, you would be saying to yourself, wow, I am believing that I'm believing I've been attacked.
I believe I can be.
I believe I can be attacked. I believe I have been attacked, and I believe that attack was totally unfair, and that I had nothing to do with it.
I had nothing to do with it.
I'm a total victim. So when you're angry, what you're saying is, I gave only love every second to everyone, every minute of the day. I gave only love. I just can't understand why they're attacking me. I gave only love to them. I gave love only to myself. I gave only love to that. That's what you're really saying. In your anger, what you're saying is, I have no connection to the attack, and you're also saying, I have been attacked. Now, if you are perceiving correctly, you would know that you have not been attacked. Your reality hasn't been changed one iota from love to guilt, from love to something fearful. Your reality hadn't been changed at all. Just because you misperceived yourself, just because they misperceived themselves, just because they misperceived you, doesn't change anything at all. Which means you haven't been attacked. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. You still remain exactly as you were created by love. Nothing has happened. You haven't really been attacked. Maybe you were misperceived, but you haven't been attacked. And so, and them giving you something besides love is not an accident. If they have given you something besides love, there's a very good chance that you have given something besides love. Maybe not to them, but to somebody. So the first premise that you've been attacked, not true, because your reality can't be changed by what anybody thinks of you. The second premise, that their attack was completely unfair, totally untrue, because chances are good you have given something besides love to them or someone else. And number three, the premise that you are in no way responsible for their misperception on you. Well, that's obvious, because we know that you too had not given only complete love to everyone all the time. Okay? Now, so anger is denial, anger is projection, and anger is not the only interpretation, and anger is not the only response to what they thought or did. Anger is incorrect perception. Anger is like, I'm a victim that's totally unfair, and I'm a victim and I have nothing to do with that, and I've been attacked. So anger is an incorrect perception. And what a cost, what a price that we pay for a complete misperception. I mean, I'm gonna pay the price of like cancer and being broke and being sick and being depressed and anxious. I'm gonna pay that price for something that wasn't even real or true? Really? Okay, whoa, that is not a good deal. That is not a good deal at all. At all. I'm gonna lose my health and my happiness and my wealth for something that was never even true. Oh, no, that's not a good deal. That's not a good investment. And remember that A Course in Miracles says that those who are poor are those who have invested wrongly. So, if you don't want to be poor, whether we're talking financial, emotional, psychological, or any way, shape, or form, if you don't want to be poor, don't invest wrongly. Don't invest in a wrong way. And investing in anger is investing in a poor way.
Not bad and bad.
Those who are poor have invested wrongly. Now, do you know somebody who has invested heavily in anger? Oh yeah, okay. Has that been you who have invested heavily in anger? Okay. There's some people who invest heavily in this stock or that stock, this stock or that stock. There are some people who have invested heavily in their anger. They are like holding on to that anger. Oh my God, they're holding on to that anger. They're squeezing every drop. They will not let it go upon pain of death.
And it paid off. They have lots of anger now, not just a little.
Exactly. They've invested heavily in that anger, and they have the results of investing heavily in anger. And what they have is suffering, sickness, They have depression, they have anxiety, they have despair, they have physical illness, they have financial brokenness, they have relationship stress. So, Course in Miracles is saying that's not the only interpretation. Anger, as a matter of fact, is not the only thing, it's not the only option that you can experience in a situation. There are other options because there are other interpretations of the situations that would produce the opposite of anger, like humility, like responsibility, like willingness, or like forgiveness. So now, where it used to be that I would get angry and feel justified in that anger and hold on to that anger, now when that situation occurs, now I can turn to this and go, let me question this anger. Oh, I notice I'm feeling angry. Okay. Let's see. Is this anger going to pay off for me? Probably not. So let's see. Have I been attacked? Not really, because they don't have the power to change my reality from what God created. Okay, great. Is their attack fair? Well, have I given only love? For sure not. Just ask my friends. Number 3, what is it? I had nothing to do with it. Okay, great. Had you had nothing to do with it? Had you given only love to them? Hell no. Okay, great. Okay. So really your anger isn't justified in that. Okay, great. My anger isn't justified. Ouch. Okay, my anger isn't justified. Okay, great. Then what else? Now I can say, all right, Holy Spirit, what is the truth here? What is the truth in this situation? If it's true that my anger isn't justified, then what is justified here? Oh, you say love is justified. All right. Okay, well, show me how. I'm willing. Show me. Okay, show me. Beautiful. Tricia says, and I froze the broadcast. All right. Tricia says, some folks don't know how to love or be kind. I give love. Beautiful. Exactly. Whew-wee. Yes, what we all learned from childhood is that that you can be attacked and you can be a victim, and you are a victim, and your attack and your anger is justified, and you are in no way responsible for their attack on you. So your anger is justified. So go on and feel that anger. Go on and nurse that anger and cherish that anger and hold that anger and preserve that anger and get people to agree with you in that anger and take that anger and stick it in your body as proof to them of what they did to you. That's what the world teaches. Yikes. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to take that anger and stick it in my body and use my body as the witness to the proof of their worthiness for attack. I don't want to do that anymore. I've been there, done that, and paid the bills for that. It's too expensive. It costs too much. It costs too much physically. It costs too much emotionally. It costs too much psychologically. It costs too much relationally. It costs too much globally to cherish that anger and hold on to the justification for it. It's just too high of a price for something that ain't even true in the first place. Because the truth is that whatever you receive from them is something you've been given. Maybe not to them, but definitely to them. And that's the truth. If you had given only love, you would have received only love for real. So Don't be in denial. Don't fight against that. Don't resist that. Tell yourself the truth so that you can be free from the cost of the anger, which is a projection of your own rejection. Anger is a projection of your own rejection. Okay? I'm angry at you because I'm projecting onto you the rejection that I was doing even before you. Wow. Trisha says, getting hot. Woo! Hot flash. Spiritual hot flash. Oh my goodness. Where's my fan? That was only paragraph 1.
The men are getting hot flashes.
Yeah, even the men are getting hot flashes. Even the men. All right. Okay. So, I love it. Trisha says, my anger is not justified. Maya says, this is so perfect. I've been holding a grievance about someone and I felt justified in being angry toward her. And I have been feeling I felt justified in being angry toward her and I'd really like to forgive. Right on, Maya. Then this is the class for you. Beautiful. This is the class for you. Okay, so, yes, exactly. You're not going to let go of the anger until you see the price you're paying for it. Like, I'm going to pay this price for this anger, this suffering, and it ain't even true. It isn't even true that I'm a victim of them and I'm experiencing something that I didn't even give. No. Okay. There's gotta be a better way. Hey, Greg. Okay. All right. So now we're on paragraph 2. It says, what can be expected from insane premises except an insane conclusion? So if you have an insane premise, like I'm a victim and I'm justified and I've been attacked, then what can you expect but an insane conclusion? Now, the way to undo an insane conclusion, like I've been attacked and I'm in no way responsible for that, thank you, dear, is to consider the sanity of the premises on which it rests. Okay, so if you want to do what? If you want to undo an insane conclusion, my anger is justified, an attack on them is justified, then you're going to have to question. You're going to have to question or consider the sanity on the premises of which it rests. Okay, so shall we do that? Shall we question or consider the sanity of the premises on which that grievance rests? Shall we? Okay, I want you to bring up them grievances. Ready? I want you to bring them all. Bring them on. Bring that grievance on. Okay? Bring it on. Bring it up to your awareness. You know the grievance that we're talking about. All right. And what's the premises of this grievance you got? The premise of this grievance is that you've been attacked, girl. You've been attacked, guy. And it was totally unfair, and you had nothing to do with that. You're in no way responsible at all for that attack on you. Okay, so you know the one I'm talking about? You know that grievance? Okay, now we're going to do what? We're going to consider the sanity of those 3 premises that we just mentioned that your grievance is resting upon. Number 1, you cannot be attacked. What? Okay. Number 2, attack has no justification. And number 3, you are responsible for what you believe. And the Course of Miracles teacher had popped off of her body.
Responsible.
Yes, and all the Course of Miracles students ran screaming from the room. screaming, no, that's not true. Okay, that's the truth, and that's the way that you question the sanity of the premises that your anger and your grievance is based on, is resting on. All right. Okay, now I want you to bring to your awareness that grievance, okay? That place where you felt like you were attacked and feel like you were justified in your anger. And everybody would agree with me that I'm justified in my anger. I mean, come on, even a court of law, would you agree with me that I'm justified in my anger? I want you to bring that grievance to your awareness, and I want you to tell yourself this: I cannot be attacked. I cannot be attacked. Okay? Now, what do you suppose that means? To say, I cannot be attacked. What it means is that your reality, your truth, your innocence, your power, your beauty, your creativity cannot be assailed, period. Certainly not by somebody's misperception or projection. Just because somebody looked at you and they're sinful, they're guilty, they're this, they're that. Oh my gosh, you're this, you're that. You're unlovable, you're unworthy, you're guilty, you're bad, you're inadequate. Something wrong with you. Just because somebody has a projection, a misperception on you, in no way, shape, or form changes your reality from how you were created by your source. That's what it means to say, I cannot be attacked. It means I cannot be changed by what other people think about me. That's what it really means. To say I cannot be attacked. I cannot be changed by what other people think of me, or how other people see me, or what other people try to do to me. It don't change me at all. That's what it means to say I cannot be attacked. And that is the truth. You cannot be attacked. You cannot be changed by what other people think of you or try to do to you, whatever it is. So I want you to tell yourself, in this situation where you feel like you've been attacked, I cannot be attacked. I mean, just because people misperceive me don't mean anything happened. So, wonderful, I cannot be attacked. I want you to tell yourself, I cannot be attacked. I cannot be attacked. I cannot be attacked. I cannot be changed by what other people think about me. And then take a breath. And just know that saying the truth heals you even if you don't believe it. We already know you don't believe it. That's all right. Just say the truth to yourself. Say the truth to yourself. I cannot be attacked.
I cannot be crucified.
I cannot be crucified. Okay? Beautiful. And Andrew says, it feels so much better accepting that I am responsible. I can spend so much energy justifying my victimhood. Yes, yes. We too have wasted years and maybe lifetimes justifying our victimhood. Okay? But to what result? But to what end? Okay? I'm tired of that. You know, I could get a whole world to agree with me that I'm justified in my victimhood. But what's the result? Sadness, sickness, depression, despair, anxiety, and being broke. So, no more wasting energy in our perceived justified victimhood. We're not victims. The truth is that we are responsible for what we're experiencing. Mm-hmm. Okay? Who is it that said yes to the people that you're feeling angry at right now? Who is it who said yes to them? All right. So that's the first one. So we're questioning the premises of the anger. There are 3 premises, 3 beliefs you must have accepted before you even could become angry. The first one is that you have been attacked and that you can be attacked. And so we're going to question that. We're going to go, oh yeah, I thought I was attacked and I cannot be attacked. All right, great. Remember, we're telling ourselves the truth even if we don't believe it. The second one is, the second premise that we believed is that, so the second one is, attack has no justification. Tell yourself, and so, since I can't be attacked and I haven't been attacked, then my attack back has no justification. I'm not justified in attacking back if I haven't been attacked. And 3, you are responsible for what you believe. You are responsible for what you believe, and you are responsible for what you believe. Do you believe you've been attacked? You are responsible for what you believe. And you are responsible for what you're experiencing. So if you're experiencing attack, then guess what must have happened at some point, somewhere, is that you must have given attack yourself. Whether you gave that attack to yourself or you gave that attack to another. And what is attack? It means not love. Somehow you must have given not love to another or not love to yourself. So that is the truth of the matter. And when you tell yourself that truth, when you're experiencing anger, then what you're doing is you are questioning the premises on which your anger rests. And when you undo the premises, when you question the premises and undo those beliefs, then what happens to the anger? It's gone. What happens to the effects of anger? Gone. What comes from anger? Toxicity. What comes from anger? Pain. What comes from anger? Self-deception. What comes from anger? Suffering. Anger is never justified because you are responsible for what you're experiencing, and you cannot be attacked. Beautiful.
It's learning to think how God thinks.
It's exactly right.
God cannot be attacked, and God knows that.
Exactly.
That it can't be attacked, and so he has
Yeah.
no reason to attack any of us.
Exactly.
Because it can't be attacked.
Exactly. It's like God, the way God thinks. God knows God can't be attacked. God isn't like, oh no, my children misperceive me. I'm so hurt. Oh, my child is misperceiving me. Yeah, so we're learning how to think like God. Now, remember, what's the title of this section? The Message of the Crucifixion. Okay? Who else do we know who was crucified? Oh, so many. Oh, so many teachers of truth who were, quote, crucified. Okay? Now, there was one teacher of truth who was crucified physically. And what happened? What was that a person? What was that teacher teaching? And what happened to that teacher after he was crucified?
You prove that you can't attack him.
Let's see. They tried to crucify him in the worst possible way. Betrayed, beaten, torn, and then finally killed. And what happened to that teacher? Woo! Said, gotcha. All right. Beautiful. Demi says, if you need a break from anger/victim, highly recommend Netflix documentary called My Octopus Teacher. Wonderful. I love movie recommendations. Thank you, Demi. Okay. And Demi says, okay, so, and then Trisha says, I am crying, all those years gone. Beautiful. Okay, so you just heard the truth that cures, that heals and corrects the anger and all the toxic effects of anger. And what is that truth? It's this: I cannot be attacked. And so my attack back has no justification, and I am responsible for what I'm experiencing, and I am responsible for what I believe. And I'm going to tell myself that, even if I don't quite believe it, I'm going to tell myself that, I'm going to tell myself that, so that this anger and all its toxic effects can be undone for me. That's the answer. Wow. All right, let's take a breath. Whew. I want to have all the effects, the toxic effects of my anger undone. I really do. I realize now that all the ways I've been suffering, whether it's emotional, psychological, financial, relational, global, whatever, they're all the effects, they're all the toxic effects of my anger. You know, and I got Aries moon, and I got Aries moon. I got all kinds of like fire. I've got Aries, God of War, in my 7th house of relationships. Okay, yowza. I remember when I was young and somebody was reading my chart and they were like, "You got a really big temper," and I was like, "No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about." No, I don't. I'm a Libra, Virgo rising. I'm so nice. You know, so I know wherever I speak, you know, the whole anger thing, you know, like fiery, like justified in one's anger. But the point but as justified as you may feel and justified in your anger as the world tells you that you are, anger, you still pay too high of a price for anger. Okay? All right. And then, of course, in Miracles is saying that there is no justification for attack because you can't be attacked. And that you have been attacked and you can be attacked is the basis. That's the premise of all that anger. Wow. Dang. And that's the ego's, like, that's one of the ego's main idols, right? Anger. That's one of the ego's literal main idols. Anger. All right. Now we're moving to paragraph 3. Paragraph 3. You have been asked to take me as your model for learning. Okay, who is the me it's talking about? Is the voice of the Course, the author of A Course in Miracles. And our teacher and the author of the Course says, and we have said that an extreme example is a particularly helpful learning device. All right, so our teacher, who actually went through the crucifixion experience for real, like, I'm so crucified, this person doesn't like me, they said I was blah, blah. Well, our teacher actually went through a physical crucifixion, unlike me, who just somebody said they didn't like me. Okay, our teacher, the voice of course, actually went through a physical crucifixion where he was beaten and torn and betrayed and dragged through the streets and put up on a cross and left there, while people laughed at him. Okay, our teacher, the voice of course, actually went through one, unlike us, who haven't really actually gone through one. Who were like, I'm so angry someone said something unnice about me. Yeah, our teacher's like, I was hung up on a cross and beaten and betrayed, okay? So if I can tell you another interpretation of attack, I think you can believe there's another interpretation of attack, says our teacher, the voice of the Course. So our teacher is like, and we have said that an extreme example is a particularly helpful learning device. So being hung up on a cross was apparently just an extreme example. Because why? Because it was a particularly helpful learning device. Now, everyone teaches and teaches all the time. Teaching all the time is a responsibility which you assume inevitably the moment you have accepted any premise at all, and no one can organize their life without any thought system. So, in other words, once you have developed a thought system of any kind, you live by it, which means you teach it, you demonstrate it, okay? So whatever it is you believe, you're going to be teaching. Whatever it is you believe, you're going to be demonstrating. That's just the way it is, all right? Now, paragraph 4. You have been chosen to teach the atonement, which means the undoing of fear and the undoing of anger. You have been what? Chosen to teach the undoing of anger. I have? Why? Why have I been chosen to teach the undoing of anger? Because you have been an example of allegiance to anger, to your thought system based on anger, and you therefore have developed the capacity for allegiance to anger in a thought system based on anger. Since you have developed an allegiance or a capacity to be allegiant to your anger, and my anger is justified, that's why you have been chosen to teach the release from anger, the correction of anger. That's why you've been chosen as a teacher to teach the undoing of anger, the correction of anger, because you have been so good, so devoted, so allegiant to the thought system of anger. Wow. Very interesting. Now, it says, now your capacity for allegiance to anger has indeed been misplaced. Some individuals become outstanding examples of allegiance to apathy, and others have become startling examples of fidelity to variability, which means inconsistency. Wow. We have been such great, outstanding examples of devotion to anger and inconsistency. Congratulations. This is what it looks like when someone is devoted to their anger. Wonderful. Bravo. Great job. Thank you for showing us such a great example of what happens when someone is so devoted to their righteous wrath. Woo! Good job. Amazing. You've been a fantastic. You get the Oscar Award for one who is devoted to and allegiant to anger and guilt and attack. Very nice. All right. And what is the price that you pay for that? Wow. A life you're trying to escape. All right. Now, but the point being is that obviously you have a tremendous ability to be devoted to something you believe in. And that's the point here, is that really you've really demonstrated is that you have the capacity to be allegiant to whatever you believe in and whatever you want. And that is a very valuable and useful ability. And that's the only thing that's of value here of learning here, is that, hey, you have the capacity to be allegiant to something you believe in. And that's what is valuable here. Now, if you don't like the results of how you've used your capacity to be allegiant to something, to be faithful and devoted to something, if you don't like the results of that, then you can change that. And that's what we're hearing. Okay? So the good news is that just as much devotion and allegiance as you have put into your anger and how justified it is, you can be just as allegiant and devoted to something else that will produce different results. Thank you, God. Like, hey, I cannot be attacked, and forgiveness is justified. And look at the results of that.
Imagine our life when we become devoted to that way of thinking, as we have been devoted to anger.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Imagine what your life will be like when you become just as devoted to forgiveness and truth as you used to be to justifying your anger. Wow. Imagine that kind of life where you are just as devoted to justifying love, why love is the right answer, as you used to be devoted to justifying why you were attacking and why you were angry. The difference is those two different worlds. The world you'll experience when you're just as devoted to justifying love as you used to be in justifying your anger and attack. It's a difference of two worlds. You will experience another world, a world you never dreamed possible in your wildest imaginations and your grandest highs. You've never imagined the world that you'll experience when you're that committed and that devoted and that faithful and allegiant to love and forgiveness. And what does love and forgiveness know? What does love and forgiveness know? Love knows the truth. Love knows you can't be attacked. Love knows you can't be changed by what people think of you. You don't need to be angry about what people think of you or try to do to you or how people attack you. They don't know. They're not your creator. They don't have the ability to change you in any way, shape, or form. They're not your creator. And so, no anger is justified there. And if that person is attacking you, there's a very good chance that you had been attacking and giving guilt to someone at some point, very recently. Wow. Andrew says, I have a fantastic anger resume. Feel well qualified for this task. Exactly. And Tricia says, I want to teach and learn. Beautiful. And hi, Rajesh Kumar, lovely to see you. Yes, indeed. Wow. Yes, many of us have been warriors for so long. Warriors defending our anger, defending, justifying our attack, justifying our anger. We've been that way for so long. For sure me, and for sure many of the people that I know. Well, look at our planet, look at our world. We live in a world at war, constantly at war. I mean, when has our planet not been at war? When has our planet not had war going on at some point, at some time, between some tribes, some peoples? We live on a planet that is addicted to war, in love with war, 100% justified in its attack on others and seeing itself as a victim of attack from other countries and other nations. Wow. For as long as we've been recording history, So we collectively have been believing these false premises and suffering from them. And we have been believing these premises individually and suffering from that as well. But if you really want to experience real freedom, real joy, real aliveness, real abundance, real love, the lessons of love, it comes from the understanding of the truth that you cannot be attacked. And so your attack has no justification, and you are responsible for what you experience in time and space. Now that is the understanding of truth that produces a future unlike our past. This is the understanding that produces a future of a world not at war, a world that is unified and healthy and happy and safe for all the inhabitants of that world. So that's the premises we want to practice and to accept for ourselves so that we can stop practicing war in our own lives also that we can provide a demonstration for the collective of how to live a life not at war. I want to live a life where I'm not paying the cost of being at war. I don't want to be at war with myself. I don't want to be at war with my family and my friends. I don't want to be at war in my own life. And I don't want to be in a world that's always at war. Look at the cost of that. Famine, disease, poverty, climate disruption, imminent extinction. That's all not necessary. That's not necessary. But it all starts with us. It starts with us. It starts with me. It starts with you. And thank you, God, for A Course in Miracles that helps us to make that choice. Thank you, God. Maya says, the world was made in hatred. Yes, it was. I mean, honestly, you look at the history of the world. If you look at the history of the world, it's always been war. It's always been conflict. Even beginning with the cave people, where they learned to sharpen sticks and stick it in each other. This is at least that's as long as we know on this planet. And as long as the history of war on this planet has been, we can change it right now by accepting the truth. I cannot be attacked. My attack has no justification, and I am responsible for what I'm experiencing. And I choose the truth. I choose love. I choose the truth that I cannot be attacked, and that I am responsible for what I'm experiencing. And so I choose to give only love. Okay? To have love, give love. To have peace, give peace. All right. So that was, so now it says, so that was paragraph 4. And I don't think we finished it. It says, paragraph 4, but these are forms of faith which can grow willing to redirect. You cannot doubt the strength of your devotion when you consider how faithfully you have observed your devotion. It is quite evident that you have already developed the ability to follow a better model if you can accept a better model. In other words, you've already demonstrated that you have the ability to follow a model, okay? You've been following the model of anger and attack and world at war for a very long time. So that's what we've really demonstrated, is that you have the ability to follow a better model if you want to follow a better model. And we've been given a better model to follow. And thank you for A Course in Miracles. Thank you, God, for A Course in Miracles. Now we have a better model to follow. Okay? We used to only have a model of anger and attack and war to follow, but now we have a better model to follow. And we've already demonstrated that we can be devoted and allegiant to a model. So you got that going for you. So all you got to do is shift the model you're being allegiant to, the model, the thought system you're following, and you'll be fine. That's all you got to do. Take that ability to be devoted, take that ability to be allegiant, take that ability to follow, and put it toward a better model. A model that says love is justified. You are only love. You cannot be attacked, and only love is justified. Put your ability to be allegiant to that model. All right. Now that brings us to paragraph 5. All right. Wow. Okay, great. Wow. 8:15. Okay. Wow, that went fast. I'm going to finish paragraph 5, and then we'll stop here for this session. We'll pick up next week on paragraph 6. Paragraph 5 says, we have not dwelt upon the crucifixion because of its fearful connotations. The only emphasis that we have laid upon the crucifixion so far is that it was not a form of punishment. You know, that experience called the crucifixion that our teacher went through, Course in Miracles, all it has said yet that was not a form of punishment. That was not God punishing one person because of the bad and the evil and the sinful of the other children. So that's not what that was. But we know that nothing can be really explained only in negative terms, which means there is a positive interpretation of the crucifixion. That's an interpretation which is completely devoid of fear and therefore wholly benign in what it teaches if that interpretation of the crucifixion is properly understood. Okay? So we have this experience of the crucifixion in our collective awareness, right? And what we learned about that crucifixion story was that one of God's children was being punished because of the other children of God. That's what we learned, right, about that story of crucifixion. And then, of course, a miracle goes, actually, that's a wrong interpretation of that story. That's a wrong interpretation of that crucifixion story. That wasn't a punishment story that you saw going on. And it says, as a matter of fact, there is another interpretation of that crucifixion story that is completely loving, completely kind, completely gentle, if you interpret it correctly. Wow. So apparently we are being given another interpretation of the crucifixion story, one that isn't about punishment, but one that is perfectly kind. Okay. There's another interpretation of that story that only is a kindness story? Great. What is that? That's a story that is completely without fear. Wow. There's a way of interpreting the crucifixion that's completely without fear and has nothing to do with punishment. Okay, great. Now, does that mean that there's another way of interpreting what I've been feeling crucified by in a completely kind way that need not produce any fear? You mean I can reinterpret the crucifixion I'm going through right now that's completely kind and gentle, that has nothing to do with punishment? There's another way for me to interpret the crucifixion I'm going through? Yes, that's exactly what it's saying. There's another way to interpret not only that collective crucifixion story, but also your own crucifixion story. There's another way to interpret it that is wholly kind and has nothing to do with punishment at all. Now, it says the crucifixion is nothing more than an extreme example. So that crucifixion story that we have in our collective consciousness, that's just an extreme, it's just an extreme example. Extreme example of what? Well, its value, like the value of any teaching device, lies solely in the kind of learning that crucifixion story facilitates. Now, the crucifixion example story, it has been misunderstood. Indeed. Yes, it has, to say the least. What's one of the first things you see when you go into a church is, the image of a crucified Christ. Talk about being misunderstood. It's like the first thing you see when you go into a church is crucifixion. This.
Look what you did to me.
Look what you did to your Savior. Look what you did to me. Yeah, talk about the crucifixion has been misunderstood. Wow, to say the least. The reason that the crucifixion story has been misunderstood is only because the fearful are apt to perceive fearfully. All right. And I'm going to go on a little bit more just because we can't stop there. Paragraph 6. I told you before that you can always call on me to share my decision, which means to make it stronger. I also told you that the crucifixion was the last foolish journey that anyone in the family of God need take. That's the correct interpretation. That was the last foolish journey that any of us need ever take. Nobody needs to experience any kind of crucifixion after that. Nobody does. That's it. That's the last time anybody needed to experience an experience of being crucified. Okay, wow. And that when interpreted correctly, that crucifixion story should really mean release from fear to everyone who understands it. Wow. And while we emphasize the resurrection only before, the purpose of the crucifixion and how it actually led to the resurrection was not clarified at that time. Nevertheless, the crucifixion story and the reinterpretation of it has a definite contribution to make to your own life. What? And which means if you will consider that crucifixion story without fear, then that crucifixion story will help you understand your own role as a teacher. Dang. Okie dokie. Because you've reacted for years as if you were being crucified, right?
A martyr.
A martyr. Yeah. And reacting for years as if you were being crucified and martyred, made to sacrifice. This is a marked tendency of the separated. Who are the separated ones? Those are the folk who always refuse to consider what they have done to themselves. Projection means anger. And anger fosters assault. And assault promotes fear. The real meaning of the crucifixion lies in the seeming apparent intensity of the assault of some of the children of God upon another child of God. This, of course, is impossible and must be fully understood as an impossibility. Unless it is fully understood as only an impossibility, I cannot serve as a real model for learning. Okay, wow. So, what it's saying here, and what I hear it saying here, is that if you understand that crucifixion story that we have collectively, that's a global, collective, humankind theme and story in our human collective story, the story of the crucifixion. And the story of the crucifixion of the one who is innocent, that is a story that has not only shown up in the Christian, Judeo-Christian mythology, but it is a story that has shown up all around the world as long as the world has been, a world. Okay? The story goes like this. The story that this is what is the sacrifice that love demands for others. That story is honestly global. It's universal. Now, what we're hearing here is that it's very important to have a new interpretation of this collective metaphor story of the crucifixion. And once you understand it correctly, it will have a great contribution to add to your own life if you will understand it without fear. All right. It will help you to understand your own role as a teacher. Wow. So in other words, you got to understand that whole story, that whole myth, so that you can, better understand your own role as a teacher. So how is it that story of the crucifixion is going to help me understand my role as a teacher, a teacher of love, a teacher of truth? Well, what it's going to teach you is that what's going to help you understand is that whomever it is that decides to take the role of teacher of love, teacher of truth, that the ego, the opposite of love, the opposite of truth, is going to try to crucify that. It's going to try to put a stop to that. And as this story has demonstrated, no matter what the fearful mind, the guilty mind tries to do to stop the teacher of love and guiltlessness and forgiveness, it won't work. You can't be crucified. Love can't be stopped. Love can't be crucified by fear, by guilt. And to be a teacher of truth, that is something you are going to need to understand. If you are going to be a teacher of truth and love, the main thing you need to understand is I cannot be attacked. Because why is it you need to learn that? Because when you say, I am love, I am guiltless, I am the guiltless child of God, there is no sin, you are not guilty. The ego, which is the belief in sin, is going to try to crucify, to stop that, to stop you. Now, if you don't know that you can't be attacked, then you are going to attack back.
And plant a seed.
And plant a seed. That you are going to plant an evil seed. And so, you need to understand the truth about the idea of crucifixion. You need to understand in a new way, a new interpretation of attack. You need, as a teacher of truth, to understand attack in a new light. As a teacher of truth, as a teacher of guiltlessness, you need to understand that you cannot be attacked and that your attack has no justification and you are responsible for what you believe. That's why this story has such a profound value to you as a teacher of love and truth in the world at this time. Understanding this story of how this person who was teaching only love seemed to be crucified is going to help you to understand your own role as a teacher of truth. You're a teacher of truth. You're a teacher of love. You're here to teach love. You're here to demonstrate love. You're here to demonstrate forgiveness. Now, what you need to know, teacher of truth, teacher of love, is that the fearful mind, the ego, is going to try to stop your teaching, stop your demonstration. That's a fact. Now, what you need to demonstrate, if you're going to demonstrate the truth of love, then you're going to need to understand that no matter how the ego attempts to attack you, you cannot be attacked. And so your attack has no justification, and you are responsible for what you believe. Why is a teacher of love and truth that this lesson is crucial for you in accepting your function as light of the world? It is crucial. It is crucial to your accepting your function as light of the world, because if you believe you can be attacked, you will attack back, and you will keep the illusion of attack going. And so that's why it's so crucial. It's time that we stop reacting as if we are being crucified. You can't fulfill your function as teacher of truth and be reacting as if you're being crucified. To be a teacher of truth, you're going to have to accept you cannot be crucified, you cannot be attacked. Why? Because the ego is going to be coming after your teaching, your truth. All right. Okay. If Trisha goes deep. All right.
It is.
Yeah. And listen, if truly there's no one that the ego is going to be more offended by than you, who are teaching that only love is real and there is no sin and there is no death. Okay, who do you think the ego is going to be coming for? The ego's not going to be coming for the people who are like, sin is real, attack is justified. And so when you react with anger, what you're doing is you're affirming that what the ego believes is the truth. So just hear this. If, it says, nevertheless, the reinterpretation of attack and crucifixion has a definite contribution to make to your own life. And if you will consider the crucifixion story without fear, then the crucifixion story will help you understand your own role as a teacher. Okay? In other words, we're here to learn a new interpretation of attack. We're here to learn a new interpretation of attack that doesn't give rise to anger, that doesn't give rise to fear, that actually corrects the source of attack. And that's what we're here to do. Beautiful. So, good job, teachers of truth. Good job taking your place among the healers of the world. Here we are learning what we need to learn in order to fulfill our function as healer and teacher, bringer of peace and truth to the world. So good job. All right, and learning the truth about anger is a crucial part of us taking our part and fulfilling our function. So, are you ready and willing to learn a new interpretation of attack? Are you willing to learn a new interpretation of anger? Are you willing and desiring to be healed of the anger that is producing toxicity in your life? Do you want that? Are you willing? Are you willing to be released from the imprisonment and the toxicity of the anger that you have been addicted to and allegiant to for too long? Are you? I am. Are you willing to take your ability to be allegiant to something like anger and being a victim, and take that ability to be devoted and allegiant and put it towards the truth that you can't be attacked? Are you willing? If you are willing, the means will be provided. That's all you need to be focused on. Are you willing? Are you willing to receive a different interpretation of your anger and your attack? All you got to do is say yes, and then the means will be provided, because the great corrector of perception, who is aware of your willingness, will provide the means to do it. And of course, in miracles is the means to do it. So, thank you for your willingness to allow the obstacles to love to be removed for you, so that you can take your place among the healers of the world. I thank you, and all the world that's healed by this thanks you. Greg Holston says, I am willing. And Tricia says, I am. Awesome. I am too.
Me too.
And Greg says he is too. And Andrew says, I am willing to give my allegiance to love. All right. That's at least that's enough. That's plenty. All right, good job, guys. So now I'm going to do announcements and then integration meditation, and then we're going to do just a few minutes of a integration meditation. Beautiful. Thank you guys for your wonderful participation today. I love your questions, your comments, and your energy and your aliveness. It's beautiful. All right. So announcements are, I do 2 live streams a week. Mondays, I do Miracle Roulette, where we ask Spirit to decide for us what we study from A Course in Miracles. And we put the books of the Course in Miracles into the random number generator, and we let Spirit decide what Spirit knows we all need to hear that day. That's every Monday. Every Wednesday, like this session, I'm just reading from beginning on through from the Course in Miracles complete and annotated edition, and we're just going on through. So that's Monday and Wednesday, live on Facebook from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And so maybe on some Mondays I'll be live at the Miracle Center, maybe not, because it's winter and COVID. But I'll always be on Facebook, Mondays and Wednesdays, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Greg does a beautiful Tuesday Facebook live stream from here at Miracle Park, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And he does a beautiful channeling synthesis of Course in Miracles and Bible. So if you're interested in Course in Miracles and maybe you have a background in the Bible or are interested in experiencing a reinterpretation of the Bible, then that is the perfect class for you on Tuesdays on Facebook Live, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Also, I am a holistic psychotherapist, and over the years I've developed a psychotherapeutic niche where I offer psychotherapeutic support to folks who are going through some kind of transition and want a new interpretation of what they're going through, an interpretation of it from A Course in Miracles perspective, so that miracles become as natural and easy as breathing is to the body as a result of applying it. So I'm available for that one-on-one. And the best way to reach me to schedule a Miracle Psychotherapeutic session is to either private message me on Messenger or go to my website, annakujawa.com, find my phone number and text me. That's the best way to reach me. Also, if you would like to watch more of my classes from over the years and over all kinds of topics, then you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's all my classes in a very easily accessible format. Also, if you would like to support this ministry, then liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube channel is a wonderful way to do that. I'm working on getting 1,000 subscribers that I need to do YouTube Live. And so if you would like to support this ministry, that would be a wonderful way to do that. And thank you for that. If you would like to support this ministry with a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, go to page 2 and find the PayPal button, and you can do that there. And thank you so much for all the ways that you've supported this ministry, sharing it on your Facebook feed or going to YouTube or making a financial contribution. I really appreciate that. My purpose is to share this message with the world. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm about, to hear these words and to give them to the world. So I profoundly appreciate your support of this ministry, and I thank you also on behalf of the planet that benefits from the extension of these ideas into the world. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful. All right, that's the announcements, and now I'm going to do just a few minutes of the integration meditation, where we take these ideas and we use them. So what I want you to do, I love it. Trisha says, 24 hours of Anna teaching on YouTube. Have you been Anna binging? Wonderful. Now, Trish, that is the correct use of YouTube, for real. So good job. The correct use of social media and YouTube. Okay, that's what I'm going for. I want the correct use of social media and YouTube. Okay, I want the correct use of the cell phone and all those electronics that the ego is trying to tempt us all to oblivion when I really want to give social media and all my electronics to spirit so that spirit uses it. Not for me being oblivious, being a zombie, social media zombie, but for the healing of the world, okay? That's what makes us truly happy. So, thank you, Trisha. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes and take a breath and just breathe. Beautiful. Now, I want you to bring to your awareness a situation where you have experienced yourself as under attack, or maybe you have experienced yourself as attacking. Where is it that you have felt like you were being crucified? Or where is it that you felt like that you were crucifying another? In other words, where is it that you've been experiencing anger? I want you to bring that situation or that relationship to your awareness. I want you to bring that anger to your awareness. And I want you to tell yourself, this anger is coming from fear. This anger is not an accident. This anger isn't coming from the world outside of me. This anger is coming from fear. Behind this anger is fear. Or if you were experiencing someone else's anger, tell yourself, that person is afraid. And I want you to tell yourself, this anger is me projecting separation. I'm angry because I'm projecting my own perception of separation. I feel separate, I feel afraid, and I'm projecting that fear, that separation. I'm angry because I'm projecting the cause of my fear. But the truth is that I am responsible for the fear that I am experiencing. No one is making me afraid. I am responsible for the fear that I have chosen. No one is making me afraid. But me. And take a breath. angry because I'm afraid. And instead of taking responsibility for my own fear that I've given myself, I'm projecting it with anger. Now I want you to tell yourself, I'm angry because I believe that I've been attacked. And I'm angry not because of what someone else did to me, because I believe that I've been attacked and I believe that attack was unfair. That's why I'm angry. Tell yourself the truth. Tell the truth about your anger, even if you don't believe it. Tell the truth. And I want you to tell yourself the truth. I'm angry because I feel that I am in no way responsible for the attack that I received. Now I want you to tell yourself, and that's why I believe that this person is worthy of attack rather than love. Tell the truth. Let A Course in Miracles help you to tell the truth about what's going on. Even if you're resistant, even if you don't believe it, tell yourself something different. Tell yourself the truth. Now, I want you for a moment to do just a brief inventory of the results of your anger that you've been projecting. What are the results that you've been experiencing from this anger that you've been projecting? And be honest with yourself. What have been the results of this anger that you have projected? What's been the results of the anger? Be honest with yourself. Do you like these results? Do they feel good? Do you want to continue with these results? Do you want more of these results, or do you want a better way? If you don't like the results of the anger, then I want you to say to yourself, I want you to tell yourself these things, even if you don't believe it. I want you to tell yourself, I cannot be attacked because I remain exactly as God and love has created me. I cannot be attacked. I cannot be attacked. I cannot be attacked. Who I am cannot be attacked. then I want you to tell yourself, and so my retaliative attack has no justification. My attacking back has no justification because I cannot be attacked. My attacking back has no justification. And no need to attack back. I cannot be attacked. And I don't need to attack back because I am responsible for what I believe and what I'm experiencing. If I had given only love, I would have received only love. I am responsible for what I am experiencing. And I want you to tell yourself, this is what I came here to learn. This is what I came here to teach. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to teach and to demonstrate that I cannot be attacked. And that attack has no justification. Because this is what I came here to teach. This is why I'm here at this time. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to teach a new interpretation of attack. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to teach a new interpretation of attack. So that the idea of war can be corrected on earth once and for all through me. I'm so grateful. So grateful. May we study war no more. Take a breath, bring your awareness back to your body and the room, the space that you're in. Beautiful. Wow. Good work, teachers of truth, miracle workers, healers, healers of the world, healers of the earth. Good job. Way to do it. Way to accept your own healing and extend that to the world. I appreciate you sharing and using your very precious time to join this circle of healing for the healing of the world. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you next time I see you.